If you want to get started with creating videos for your business in 2024, this is the video for you. This was a masterclass that I did a couple of months ago, and I wanted to make it available to everybody because I walk through my 4-step process for creating videos efficiently and effectively. I walk through prepping, recording, editing, and publishing. It's a great resource no matter what type of business you have and no matter where you're going to start publishing your videos. So if you want to check it out and learn about how you can better plan, record, edit, and publish your videos, especially using AI tools and technology to make the entire process super simple, saving you time so that you can focus on the things you love, including your own business, then you'll definitely want to check it out. Let's get to it. So, okay, do you know who you're actually competing with? A lot of people think that when they think of a competitor, they think of another person or another brand or another company, depending on the platform. But really, who you're competing with, it's not really the other brands. You're actually competing with the scroll. And we're all familiar with this, right? Where you're on Instagram or LinkedIn or YouTube or any of the platforms. And you yourself, if you're like me, you get caught up in the scroll, right? And if something catches your attention, then you're going to stop, read it, double tap, move on if you're on Instagram. And this is actually what you're competing against. As you can see here, obviously this is really fast, but it's not going to be that fast when you're scrolling through it on whichever platform. The point here is that when people are scrolling, they're more likely going to stop on things that capture their attention. And if you watch the scroll, there is one piece of content that actually catches my attention going at that fast pace. And it's the image or the video. I think it's an image that has like a pink background. So if I were actually scrolling this fast and I'm like, oh, hey, what was that? That would be the one that would capture my attention. Now you have to keep in mind that people aren't scrolling this fast, but they are scrolling and they're going to keep scrolling unless there's something on that opening image or the video or whatever it is that they're looking at on that platform that needs to stop them from scrolling and get them to tap or watch or do something with your content. So what we need to do is create videos that are actually going to stop the scroll, okay? So that's what we're going to talk about today. So how do you actually stop the scroll? We need to create compelling videos, right? And that's the best way to do it. And I'll talk about some statistics here in a couple of minutes as to why it's so important. Now, I know a lot of people already realize, a lot of people like yourself probably already realize the value that video brings to your brand. You're probably the face of the brand. If not, you're a personal brand because you're an individual and you may or may not work for another company. But when people see your content, if you're posting under your own personal profile, whether it's content for your company or yourself, people associate what you share with you. So your videos are going to be just as important. And like I mentioned earlier, if you can come across quicker and get people to understand who you are and what it might be like to work with you faster and help build up that know, like, and trust process, then they're going to be more likely to watch your video or your content. So video is still the most commonly referenced type of video. It's what most people, if they were given a choice, now I know blogs are still important, podcasts, of course, are still important. And even for somebody who prefers video like myself, like I'd rather watch a video than I would write or read a blog post. It still makes sense sometimes for me to listen to a podcast while I'm driving, but I may watch that video while I'm running on the treadmill. So even though I have a preference, the media that I choose depends on my activity and then also my location. So another reason why creating videos is so important, that you need to be able to think about your customer, your target market, and understand and identify where are they going to be or what type of media needs to be created in order for them to more likely listen to you more often. So if you're just creating blog posts, then you're really missing out on big opportunities by not allowing your ideal customers to hear your voice in a podcast or hear your voice and see you in video. And that's why video is so important. If you haven't started creating video up to this point, you are still on the early cusp of everybody creating video. But I will tell you that that is increasing at a rapid pace, more so now with AI, because people are seeing the value of artificial intelligence and how that plays a role in creating videos, even if you're the face of your brand. And I will touch on that here in a few minutes or towards the end. So, the most common reason why people don't create videos is because it's too time consuming. And if you think about the entire process, which my 4-step process, which I'll talk about as well, is you have planning, recording, editing, and publishing. Those are your 4 main buckets of creating a video. Now, planning is where you're going to spend the majority of your time, but most people get caught up in the recording, actually being on camera. And the problem with that is they're missing the point of really being on camera. And that's all about preparation. It's the planning process. And it's the confidence of knowing that when you get on camera, you know what you're going to talk about. You're prepared. You have your bullet list. You have your script that you're reading off of a teleprompter or just on a side device. Like when you're plan, if you think of something that you've been really good at or really successful at, you've had a plan, right? And that's also applicable to creating videos for your business. But that's why it tends to be, or at least the thought is that it tends to be too time consuming. And you know what? I mean, honestly, nobody has that kind of time. Even me as a video guide or a video coach, I don't have time all day long or every single day to be creating videos. I have a business that's growing and that I'm focusing on. And a lot of that activity is not being on camera and not creating videos. But what I've learned to do is to batch record my videos, which I will talk about as well later. I understand that. And that's one of the reasons why I look at how I can help you in the most simplified way create videos so that you can still show up on camera and help your target market get to know, like, and trust you faster. Okay. So I do keep that in mind. So here are some actual comments from my network over the past couple of weeks. These aren't ones that I've made up. These are ones that I actually took from people's comments. Okay. And the reason we were talking about video, of course. So it's more time consuming than I thought, which makes sense. A lot of people think they can just take out their phone or their camera, record and publish it, and they're done. But when you start to think through it, then you start to realize you're getting ready to record and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm going to say. You're like, okay, what do I want to say? Okay. And then you start to say, you're like, wait. So it becomes this entire process that if it's not in place and you don't practice that repetition of actually getting on camera to record your videos, have a process in place, it will very quickly become overwhelming. Another comment is, I don't have the bandwidth available right now. So that goes back to creating videos isn't your full-time job. You have a business to run. You have a passion. Video is just a tool or a resource that's going to help you elevate your brand and then also engage with your target audience more so that you can grow your business faster. And video is such a critical piece of that overall puzzle. And that's what I help my clients do and what I can help you do as well if you choose to work with me. Another comment, I stopped making videos. It was too much on top of work, posting, and commenting. So there were all these other things that this person was doing that she didn't have time to make videos. She was, and she wanted to be consistent, but work and life get in the way, right? So there's a way that we can do this and make sure that you not only create videos, but you create videos consistently. Real quick, before we continue, I wanted to let you know about a new program I've launched called Video Acceleration Vault. What this is and why I'm telling you about this is that it's perfect for anyone who's just getting started with video, or if you've already started creating videos and you're just not real sure about consistency, what you should do, how you can make it really work in your favor in regards to the amount of time that you're spending creating videos, and more importantly, how you can really attract and engage and help your ideal customers find you. Also help get to know, like, and trust you faster, and then ultimately buy from you. So if that's something that you're really looking for, really interested in, and you want to accelerate your way into the feed with scroll stopping videos, then this program is something you definitely want to check out. I'll include the link below. Let's go ahead and get back to the video. And I need to do much more on video. It's just so hard. And really what this boiled down to after some back and forth comments and conversation is that it wasn't too hard. It was that she was all over the place. She just didn't have a system. She didn't have a process. She didn't have how often she wanted to post or share her videos. It was just overwhelming. So all these reasons, these and others, all boil down to it's too time consuming. If there's no planning in place, it becomes very quickly overwhelming. And there's these negative emotions tied to it, which really holds us back from actually taking action and moving forward with video. And I help you make that easier and simpler with my system, my 4-step system, and then also just with me as your accountability partner and coach. I love doing that. Okay. So what's really the main reason other than what I talked about? It's these 3 platforms. Okay. If you're on any of these platforms, leave it in the comment. If you're on Instagram, just type Instagram or IG, TikTok, TT or Shorts, if you want to do that too. Leave it in the comments. Let me know, because if you're already on one or all of these and time is an issue, then there's definitely something that you'll want to pay attention to towards the end of this. Okay. And in the best practices. So these are the ones that are actually taking up a lot of time. And the reason being is it's short form video. They capture our attention and they kind of suck us in, right? Especially if it's entertaining or something that we really like to see. We're going to get sucked in very quickly and easily. And then we get stuck scrolling and commenting and liking. And before we know it, an hour's up and we're just like, where did that time go? So really, it's these platforms that if we don't have the time management in place, that's where it kind of takes our time. On the other side, as a video creator or as someone who needs to incorporate video into your marketing, that's something to just be aware of and how people are engaging on these platforms. And I'll share some statistics with you here in a couple of slides on how long the average person spends on each one of these platforms. Okay, but why these 3? Okay, so these 3, this is where the attention is right now. We've heard so much about TikTok. Although TikTok is being banned in various areas of the United States, it's also it's one that's very entertaining, and it's growing in popularity with Gen Z and then also other people, because they're actually starting to compete with Google from an SEO and search standpoint. So Gen Z, even though the data that they receive or the results they receive in TikTok is only about 70% accurate, they're still using TikTok as their number one resource to go and look for information. So if that is your target audience and you're not on TikTok, then that's something that you need to consider based on what's going on and whether or not TikTok's going to be completely banned or not. Of course, that also needs to factor into it. But when you're creating a video for each of these platforms, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, if you're putting them on LinkedIn and Facebook and Twitter, if you're putting them on Pinterest, on your landing pages, that it can be very quickly overwhelming, but you don't have to go in and say, okay, I've got 10 different places I need to create a video for. Now I have to create 10 separate videos. No, it's all about creating one to many. And I show you how to do that. Here are some statistics. Video increases conversion. So video improves brand recognition 54% on average. Pretty important then, right? So if you're not going to use video, are you missing out on that branding opportunity with your target audience? And the answer is yes, you are. Video can improve organic traffic by 157%. Web pages that have videos are more likely to get a higher SEO ranking with Google than web pages that don't. So does that mean that you have to have a video on every single one of your web pages? No, but you should have a video on at least 1 or 2 of your web pages so that you can start to leverage and start to cash in on, per se, the SEO benefits of Google by having those videos on those individual pages. So depending on the page, if it's your about page, it would be different than if it's on your home page, than it would be on your product or services pages. So all of that would be different. And that's something I work with clients on, is determining where those videos need to be placed. And then, of course, what type of video and what goes in those videos. Um, you can get 66% more qualified leads with video in your marketing. So if you're having problems with lead quality or lead volume and you're not using video, this would be an opportunity to test it, see if it actually increases for you. And if so, then you know it works. And then you reevaluate and figure out what your next move is with video. Video on your landing page, like I mentioned, can improve conversions by 86% compared to a text only web page. And that just makes sense. We typically think of web pages as being like text, and that's what Google likes because it can scan it, it crawls it, grabs the information. But the algorithms and the crawling is a lot more advanced today than it was 10 years ago. And video is a higher priority for Google in their algorithm or how they search web pages. And if they see that, then, and you've probably seen it too, if you've done searches on Google, that if there's a search result that has videos, those are pushed to the top, right? So those are going to be the first options that Google and YouTube, YouTube's owned by Google. So they're going to obviously share whatever videos are on YouTube in the search results towards the top. Okay. Video improves email click-through rate by 65% and decreases unsubscribes by 26%. And I've experienced this as well. Whenever I have a video in my emails, I don't have anybody unsubscribe. I haven't had one email that's gone out with a video where somebody's unsubscribed. Of course, I've had them when there hasn't been a video, but when there has been a video, no unsubscribes. So there's some validity to that. If you haven't tried it, you can. They can just be short clips of videos, or you can link them to either YouTube or Vimeo, and it'll be on there for you. 89% of people say watching a video has convinced them to buy a product or service. And if you think of this from a sales or salesperson perspective, video might be doing the work for them, or it might be helping them do their job more efficiently or more effectively. So if you are working with a salesperson or you have a sales team and you're not using video, I encourage you to strategize how you can go about adding video, and then where and what that looks like in regards to each of your team members, and how you can leverage that to capitalize on each of their personal brands, but also from the product in the company perspective. If you're an entrepreneur, you're a coach, you're an individual contributor within an organization, it works for all of those. But the strategies might be a little bit different, obviously, because if you're one person wearing many hats versus a one hat in a many hat organization, then those are going to be a lot different. Okay. So before we go in any more, just real quickly, if you're not familiar with who I am, I have been in marketing and really discovered my passion for marketing in 1995. So I've been doing this for a while, kind of know a thing or two. I focused on video in 2019, although my very first video that I uploaded to YouTube was in 2011. So was I creating videos that entire time? No. There was all of the frustration and not the planning and all the things that you and others are experiencing with video. I was going through that as well. And that's what held me back from moving forward with creating videos more often earlier. I encourage people to start as soon as possible. And that time is now. That's what we're doing here. I've also produced over 500 videos on all the different platforms. I've done live streams on YouTube. I did weekly live streams in 2020. I think it was like from April to the end of the year. And, so I've done that. I've done live streaming on Instagram and LinkedIn, Facebook and Facebook groups, all the stuff. Most of mine are pre-recorded though. It's my preference. I like to add, the editing and the different components and make it engaging. And for me, that's just more fun. Obviously, live streaming is fine too. I just like to add that added component of engagement and trying to get people's attention. On all social media platforms, like I said, I've also talked about, shared helped people in my workshops, my webinars like this one, challenges I've done I've actually done 3, 4, and 5-day challenges, workshops, challenges, those types of events. I've been doing those every month now. Well, I've started in 2023 doing them each month. I also mostly do it yourself type training and services, and then just become a coach or a guide to help you take action, be accountable. I can be your accountability partner. So there's different things that I do from that perspective, depending on what you might need. Then we can work together in that respect. From a personal perspective, I'm a mom to 2 daughters. They are currently 25 and 22. And then my 2 cats. I have a boy and a girl, and I love them dearly. They are rescues, or they were just found outside, and love them. Probably very close second to my daughters. Don't tell my daughters I said that. And then I'm also just a semi-retired runner. I run, but not as long, not as often. Plus, I'm getting older. So, it is what it is, right? And then for fun, I watch movies. I could sit around all day long and watch movies. I think it kind of ties into the whole video thing. Like, I watch movies to figure out how they do things. And I'm curious about the different perspectives, and I absolutely love it. So that is a little bit about me. Now, a side-by-side comparison, and I've got this image in the top right corner. So you can do a screenshot of this, because it's going to be something that you're going to want to refer back to. Depending on if we work together, if we don't work together, this is something you may want to have in your back pocket. So when you decide which platforms you want to start creating short form videos on, you'll have this information with you. And I'm not going to go through all the details, but just a couple of them. So bear with me. So we've got TikTok, we've got Reels, and we've got YouTube Shorts. So on here, we're talking about the duration is the maximum length of time that you can record within the app. Okay, so an example would be TikTok. You can upload a video that's 10 minutes long, and I should have changed it on here. They just rolled out that you could go live for up to 10 minutes. So they're continuing to increase the duration. But prior to a couple of days ago, the duration was 3 minutes. Like, you could record in the app only up to 3 minutes. You could upload up to 10. Now you can record within up to 10, and then also upload up to 10. Reels, you can do up to 90 seconds, the short 60 seconds. The one thing on here that people ask about that doesn't seem very clear, again, do a screenshot, because this is the last point I'm going to talk about. Unless you have questions, you can leave those in the comments. Is the go live. So what that means is live streaming. You need to have so many subscribers on different channels before you can actually go live within that application. So on TikTok, you have to have currently at least 1,000 followers or subscribers before you can go live on TikTok. On Instagram, you don't need to have any. And then on YouTube Shorts, you need to have at least 50. Okay, so if you have under 50 on YouTube, you can't go live until you hit that 50 subscriber mark. Okay, so again, do a screenshot of that, and you can refer back to that to see the demographics, how much time. There's a huge difference in how much time people are spending on Instagram, for example, and TikTok per day. So depending on where you're at and which one you want to start working on, that would be something to consider. So the reason why I shared this is because this is an example of how you can create one video that you can then use across all 3 platforms. Okay, so this was a video I created in CapCut, which I'll talk about that here in a minute. Created it in CapCut, and then I uploaded it to TikTok, and then I downloaded it to my camera roll. Then I uploaded it from there to TikTok, and then I uploaded it to Instagram, and I uploaded it to YouTube Shorts. Now, what you'll notice in those videos, if you saw them kind of go through, is that, well, first you can see here that the placement of the information within each platform is different. And the reason why I bring this up is that as you're creating your videos, you need to know placement so you know what other real estate on that platform you can use for your captions. You can see here YouTube Shorts has all of this space. Instagram has the least amount. And then actually on this one, I had pressed hide because I think I wanted to show something else on that screen. Oh, okay, good. But anyway, you can see here's a label that I added. It was like a disappearing text. And but YouTube's is down here, or I'm sorry, TikTok's is down here too. But the good thing about TikTok, and now Instagram has it too, is that you can press and hold the screen, and there's an option to clear the screen so that you don't see any of this down here. Okay, so you can do that on Instagram now too. So that's helpful. But again, from a user experience, from somebody who might be viewing your videos, make it as simple as possible. So leave whatever you can up here. You know, my face is close. So that's why the tags or the overlaying text is up higher. Okay, so that was the reason for that one. Okay, so you might be saying, okay, you're saying short form video. What the heck is it? Now, I have had people say that before. So short form video is typically videos that are up to 3 minutes, just like I was talking about on TikTok. You know, that was the maximum that you could record within the app. Really short form videos, anything under 60 seconds. I just kind of made that cushion to accommodate for each of those 3 platforms. The point to this is that the shorter you can make it, the better it is for your viewing audience. So if you're talking about, 3 tips for getting on camera, if I'm not going to be going into details and showing examples and, talking through equipment or anything like that, you can get those points across very quickly. In fact, you can get them across quicker on screen without you talking and just adding audio than you could if it was going to be you, as the talking head on camera talking through each of those points. Again, another reason why planning is so important, because you don't want to all of a sudden just have your phone and you start to press record and then you're like, oh, wait, and you do something, you're like, oh, wait, now you've just wasted all this time. So if you plan really well at the beginning or up front before you start anything, that's how you're going to be the most effective, and it's not going to take as much time. Okay. So these are also the ones that are vertical format. So there aren't any short form videos that are horizontal. They're all vertical. Okay. They can be any type of videos. They don't have to be entertaining. If you're on TikTok, you're probably like, oh, they're just for people who like to dance and lip sync. There's so much more on TikTok, but those would be considered like entertainment type videos. But really, vertical format, short form can be educational as well. But really what you want to do is like a combination of those, just to kind of keep your audience engaged and also help them get to know you on different levels and different sides of you. So again, they could see what it would be like to actually work with you. They also grab and hold attention, which means that they're going to be more engaging. So there's never been one video I've seen that's been like 40 minutes and somebody's like, holding their attention the entire time, right? Movies, a different thing, because it's a different mindset. It's a little bit longer, different stories going on within those movies or those scripts. So just keep that in mind, that if you're going to be doing a short form video, what are you going to do, like with the hook at the very beginning in the first 3 seconds, to grab their attention? And then what are you going to say after that that's going to keep them watching and keep them engaged with your particular message? They're also easy to consume. They're super short. So if you're on Instagram, you can very easily click share, and then it brings up your list of contacts within, or, your connections in Instagram. Type a name, type a message, share. Super easy. It's like that on TikTok as well. You can do it on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, not as much, but you can grab that link and you can go wherever you want to share it. If it's in a text message, you can share it there too. So it's just, they're more shareable. They're short, funny, educational. Hey, you got to see this. And that's why people share them. And then you also just using my 4-step system. So when you plan, record, edit, and publish, you can do all of those from your phone if you want to, or you can do them from your desktop. Not that this is my desktop, but you can do it horizontal from your computer, or you can do all of them from your phone. And again, they're simple. When you just have to understand the process, the system, the tools that you need to use, that's what makes it simple. Okay. And then just understanding that videos are not just going to be entertaining. You have to understand your buyers, where they're at. And if you're going to create a video that's going to be, hey, here's 3 tips for how to get comfortable on camera, that's probably not a video that I would want to say, hey, this is going to get a lot of people to convert to buy from me. That's more top of funnel. Let's create awareness. Let's get people to see what I'm capable of doing. So I'm going to give them some tips. And if it's something that's useful and they liked my style of delivering that, then I'm going to be more memorable. And then ultimately, to sell, you might do a customer testimonial. That's not something that's going to attract people because they don't know you yet. Honestly, they don't care about your customer testimonial if they don't know who you are and they know nothing about you. So those two different types of videos, just as an example, on opposite ends of the spectrum, awareness and selling, it's just important to understand those different steps and then what type of video you can deliver on each one. And that's where I help as well. I can help you understand and determine what those are, when to deliver them, create a content calendar that's going to work for you so you can deliver them in a particular order. Okay. And then, of course, as you saw, each platform is completely different. Now, this is just a fun video that I created with a voiceover. So if you're already on Instagram and you're trying to figure out, should I go to TikTok or should I go to YouTube Shorts? This was a poll I created for Instagram. And I was like, you know what? This is just going to be a fun way that I can actually get people to engage. And it was on Instagram. So I knew they were already on Instagram. So, which would you choose? So here's another talking or singing video.
What do you want? What do you want?
It's not that simple.
What do you want?
And bonus points if you know what movie that's from. So that, is just a way that it's not educational. It is engaging. Somebody might have heard that clip and been like, I know what movie that is. And by the time that they're like, how's she using this? Oh, that was fun. And they might click something. So there's different ways that you can apply what you're trying to convey to your target audience in different, fun, unique, educational, serious ways that encapsulate your personality, but then also deliver videos and a message in a way that your audience wants to receive from you. And if you're not already, I'll just be open and honest with you, it's selfish. You're holding back on something that they want to see from you. They want to know that information, and you're missing that piece of your marketing pie by not having video as one of your components or not creating videos on a consistent basis with all of your other marketing materials. Okay. So the big question now is, of course, how, right? So all the what's, you've got stats, you understand it, you get the reasons why it's important, but now it's really about how do I actually do this? And that's where the PDF document that you received in an email, there was a link for you to access it and download it. And this is one of the pages from that document is, how do I use my time? And then this is what I actually use. It's obviously more detailed than that, but if I gave that to you, it'd be like super overwhelming. It would defeat the purpose of simplifying, right? So this is just showing you my 4 steps and then the most important steps within sub-steps, action items within each one of those that are important for you to know and understand so that you can start taking action right now if you wanted to. This document, if you want to start creating videos or start creating videos consistently, you can use this as your guide and make it happen. Like that's it. I go into more detail and kind of do the strategy piece of it as well. But this is all you need. And actually the second page to this, like after this in the document, is actually a template that you can use so you can list out your 4 topics that your audience wants to know about. That could be frequently asked questions. It could be new product launch, like, maybe they were part of that whole ideation launch process and maybe they want to know more about that. Like there's a lot of things that you can talk about. Okay. So breaking down the prep method, I mentioned this earlier that most people are worried about the recording step of the process. And I get it. If you're shy, you don't want to be on camera. I get it. I'm an introvert at heart. And I was super shy as a kid, didn't want anybody looking at me, hide behind my mom crying when anybody would. So I get it. It's hard to be on camera for some people. And I actually walk through and coach people on that process. There are ways to overcome that and also ways to get past it. Okay. So know that there's a solution. A conversation would be helpful in order to understand your situation and then get you to that next level as well. So planning out of all of your planning, recording, editing, and publishing is actually 90%. You should spend 90% of your time planning. And the reason why I say that is if you do all the planning up front, you will have everything you need to record, edit, and publish. And it makes everything so much easier. It's simple. It reduces the anxiety because you have everything you need for each of those steps. So I say if you're not spending time upfront in the planning process, that's going to be a major contributing factor to not moving forward, the overwhelm, the anxiety, the it's too difficult, any one of those issues or concerns that you have or reasons why you're not creating videos or creating videos consistently, it's mostly because you're not spending time in the upfront step, which is planning. Okay. So then you'll see these obviously because 90% is the majority of the percentage, but recording, I say 3% because, you might need a few takes, but if you've done the planning, then the recording is a lot easier. Editing, a 5%. This is only if you're going to be doing the editing yourself. If you're planning on outsourcing your editing, you can still have that go through me. And I've got editors that are all different levels of technical expertise, we can say. So depending on the type of videos, but if you're doing short videos, I have people for that as well. So if you're going to do it yourself, then it's going to be a little bit more upfront because it's going to be part of your time. But if you outsource that, then that percentage goes away and you can spend more of that in the recording or in the publishing or the planning, of course. And then publishing is going to be 2%. And that is just really super simple. Again, if you've done the planning and you've got your recording, then it just makes everything else easy. Okay. So CapCut is the app that I use for editing my videos, and I do all of my vertical video editing from my phone. So CapCut's available, as you can see here, on Apple and Android. It's also available on mobile and desktop. So depending on what your preference is. Now, I've edited a lot of videos on my desktop. I just haven't done the editing with CapCut, but I've used CapCut for all of my vertical editing. So if you're already using a tool for your editing that you're comfortable with and it accommodates the vertical size and it's easy for you to use and you can get them done like that, then I encourage you to just continue using that. But if you're not sure where to start, you want to do some of this on your own, I do encourage people to at least do some editing up front. Not that you have to do like this master video or anything, but the reason being is that editing is such a critical piece of the planning process. So if you understand the editing and what's involved, then that can be included in the planning. Okay, but here's how you can get to just search on whichever Apple Play, Google Store. I might be getting those backwards. Search on it for whichever app you're using to access apps. CapCut video editing. And I wanted to show you the logo because there's different ones on there. So this would be the logo that you would access. Okay, so just an example of some things that you can do with CapCut because there are a lot of features in there. A lot of them are free. And you can create compelling, scroll-stopping, engaging, converting videos in CapCut with only the free tools. So this is a pretty impressive tool. I absolutely love it. I always preface it with this complete transparency. I'm not an affiliate, but CapCut is owned by the same company that owns TikTok. So ByteDance is the bigger company. ByteDance owns TikTok and CapCut. The reason why I mention that is that if you are sensitive or don't want to use TikTok for the data issues, the privacy issues, I want to make sure that you know that CapCut is owned by the same company that owns TikTok. Now, are they going to ban that as well? I haven't heard anything, but I at least wanted to be fully transparent with you as to where this app originated. Okay. So here are some things that you can do. It actually has an AI component built into it. In the CapCut app, the AI tool is actually built for creating an ad. So if you want to do a video ad. So, navigating through that is not a problem. I just wanted to let you know, but it's really cool because you can actually, when you do your search, there's a hook. So it helps you with your hook and it gives you a lot of options. So you can mix and match them. So if you like this hook and those bullet points and this CTA, you can do that. Really cool. Just a couple clicks and you've got all these choices. Gives you a hook, unique selling points, and then your call to action. Pretty cool, right? Okay, so this video will show you an example of all the tools I use in this video were free, and I did all of this editing in CapCut. Okay, so you can see a teleprompter if you would rather use a teleprompter. There is a video I created on YouTube that walks you through the teleprompter, how to use it. There's templates. You can record video in the app or upload it, all these different things that you can use. And the good thing about this is you don't have to remove any logos. So you can create it in CapCut and then you can upload it within all the other ones without having to go to Snaptic, or there's one, I think it's Snapgram for Instagram, to remove those logos. You eliminate that step altogether. They're in CapCut, download it, upload it to your apps, you're good to go. Okay, so you only have to use that one platform.
One mistake I see video creators make today is that they're not taking their videos
Oh, sorry, I'm turning that up.
to the next level. What do I mean by that? If you've created at least 5 videos for your business and all you're doing is talking to camera, you need to get a tool like CapCut where you can actually use the tools and features within the app to create different text fonts or to create different sound effects or do all of those transitions that you see others making in their videos. Even doing edits in your video is going to create a more engaging experience for your viewers and something that's going to keep them watching your video longer. CapCut is available for Apple and Android device. Go to your store, download it now, and get started. There's a lot of free features in there, and they're super easy to use.
So you can see I kind of did overkill on that video, and that was the reason why I did overkill, because I wanted to show all the different, it's not even all of them. I wanted to show a sample of what you could do within the CapCut app. So you can see there were some of the transitions, and this was done a while ago. And actually, this one's posted on Instagram, so you can see my handle there if you want to go check that out. Isn't that cool? Like all of those can be done. You can do all of that stuff within CapCut. Okay. Oh, and I did this. So you've got, if you want to do a screenshot of that so you can see what's included, go ahead and do that as well. Do a screenshot of this page as well, because you're going to want to have this prompt. So if you've tried AI, artificial intelligence, then you're probably familiar with Chat GPT, but that's the example I'm showing here. You could probably enter this prompt on other AI tools or resources as well. But here's a way to simplify your video process. I'm giving you something here that I typically would not. So here's something that you can just start doing right now and simplify your video process when you walk away from this webinar. So what you can do is enter the prompt. Excuse me, enter the prompt at the bottom. So here's your prompt. This is what a prompt is. You would actually tell Chat GPT like who they are, what you want them to do. So that's a prompt. Okay, and this is the example, but then this is the prompt example, but then here's if I actually put something, I plugged in those parentheses, what it actually is. So if you're a mindset coach, then your example would be you're a mindset coach to menopausal women and are creating a video. So you're telling Chat GPT, this is who he or she or it is. It is a mindset coach and it is targeting menopausal women. And you're creating a video about how to stop hot flashes in their tracks. So now you're telling Chat GPT to give me 5 attention grabbing bullet points that will get my target audience to connect with me on LinkedIn. So you're being specific with what you want Chat GPT to deliver to you. You can do this on the free version. If you've got the paid version, it'll give you even more concise and detailed information. So this is a way that you can start getting topics and organized with your videos right now. Okay. So that's all you need to do. If you want to then take that copy and put it into the teleprompter on CapCut, modified, of course, you never want to just copy and paste anything from any AI tool. Make it your own, but you can copy and paste that, put it into the teleprompter, record your video. You may not need to do any editing except for like maybe the beginning and ending, and that's super easy. You can do that in any app. including Canva. And then you've got your video. You can put it on different platforms, your website, your email. You can see how I made it super simple, right? So some best practices, because I want you to see all of these in case you need to go right at top of the hour. So know your objective. You have to know what you're trying to accomplish before you can plan your video, right? So you can't just I always call it the willy-nilly approach. You have to have a plan. You have to know what you're going towards. Engage your viewers within the first 3 minutes. And another tip, have the word you in the first like 5 to 7 words. That'll help too. Quality is important of your video, but really audio is the number one reason why people will not watch your video. So if you have poor quality, they're going to leave. They will tolerate poor quality video than they would audio. I know it's weird, but that's just how people are. Think of progress over perfection. Perfection does not exist, so do not focus on that. It's better to get it done and out into the hands of people who want and need to hear what you have to say than it is to try and perfect it when you're trying to perfect something that doesn't exist. There is no perfection, okay? Record fast makes editing faster, okay? Optimize it for sound. 85% of people actually watch videos with the sound off, which means you need to make sure that there are captions on your videos. So you can do that in CapCut, or you can use the tools within each of the platforms, which is what I actually recommend. Keep it fun and make sure that you include your call to action. Once they're done watching the video, what do you want them to do? If you don't tell them what you want them to do, they will scroll. They won't do anything, okay? Make it super simple. Keep their user experience in mind.
If you've made it this far through the video, don't forget to check out the Video Acceleration Vault if you haven't already. If you enjoyed this video and you're really interested and energized and really want to make a difference in your business next year, and you haven't already started creating videos for your business, you definitely need to check this out and highly consider going ahead and purchasing it. And the reason being is that I've put everything in there for you, made it super simple to navigate, to get the information that you need, to create the titles that are going to stop the scroll, to get people to click, hear a hook that's going to draw them in and keep them watching your videos, then to take that action that you want them to take at the end of that video. So if that sounds like something that you want to do and you want to make life super simple when it comes to creating videos for your business, then you definitely want to go check that out. And I hope to see you on the other side.